today, I'm going to move now right into the 5 components of separation and divorce. The first one that often pops up is denial. Think about even before you separated. Oh, this is not going to happen. It's not going to be that bad, and it's not going to affect me. It's going to be fine. A lot of people say, oh, we're going to be amicable. It's all going to work out. Because you're working on what you believe is the old contract. When you have agreements, and you and I have agreements with our co-parent, how to parent, that's null and void on the day of separation. So developing a new agreement will involve moving past denial to a place where you can see that this affects everybody. There's a loss of the family we'd hoped for, of the life we had dreamt about or maybe grown up thinking we would have. There's a significant impact on yourself, on your own emotions, and of course that trickles into the children. It can spill over onto your co-parent, and of course your co-parents can spill over onto you during drop-offs, pickups, phone calls, emails. Arguing and fighting about every single point is so common. It tells us something. We have no contract. We have no agreement. Once we're separated, no agreement. I really believe after 30 years at this, the sooner and the faster we can develop a new agreement. We'll help people develop what's called a Cooperative Parenting Agreement that covers about 7 to 10 pages, depending on what you'd like in there, to help you make those agreements. So moving past denial that this is not going to affect you, it's affecting you already. And the denial that, oh, I can't do anything about it, that's denial as well. We're learning all the time. There are lots of professionals out there that know. So some of what we help people with is adjusting that to more polite, friendly, encouraging, balanced communication that is respectful. It's too easy for us to regress back into adolescent conflict styles when we're really wounded and hurt. So we want to bring people back into their confident adult zone to work through communication and differences of opinion, organizing schedules, finances, etc. All of those things still need to occur after separation in order for a family to function well. Half the struggle, I guess, is getting into fighting with your co-parent and then hiring lawyers to help you fight. That's not what we want lawyers used for in this situation. We want lawyers to explain the law, help you follow the law, and not to really encourage building up of fights and affidavits. That can happen, as you know, so it's something to be cautious about. The next part of the grieving process might be bargaining. It's a very common part of grieving. So bargaining, well, if I just do this, I just do that, I'll just bargain with my father, my mother, that'll help me get through this. Or bargaining with your co-parent. If the bargaining's sincere and the bargaining's genuine and the bargaining's up front and the data you're sharing is, forthcoming, then that might work out well. So the bargaining process might be, if I just do this or that, I'll get out of this, or I won't have to talk to my co-parent. That's the type of bargaining we're talking about in the grieving process. So it's not actually very functional bargaining. It's just maybe I can get out of this. If I just do this, I'll get out of that. Getting out is very common for us to want to get away from an anxiety or upsetting person or a situation that really upsets us. The difficulty is, think of the message we're sending the children. When you get a little tense, when you get a little upset, run, leave. Or how about this message? You don't have to get along with people on the playground if you don't like to. If they do something that upsets you, you don't have to get along with them. So a real difficult part of separation and divorce is coming to the place to see that, yes, it's still on you directly to get along with your co-parent and to find ways to do so and to really help them as well. And I would say that to your co-parent, to help your co-parent find ways to improve the communication and to stay united, to have a united front and to have as consistent a parenting as possible. Another component would be the depression. It's sad. People end up down just in despair, the extensive loss that they feel inside. One maybe looks like more than other, but if we follow systems theory, Both people are having an emotional kind of experience out of this loss. If you'd like to know more about the grieving process, Susan has done a recent video on grieving. Just click on the link above and you can look at the stages. They call them stages. I like to call them qualities or components because you can bounce around on them. The depressed quality is normal. And to not see your children for a couple of weeks or a week or a weekend, that's sad as well. It's different if we send them off to camp. But week after week, sending them over to the co-parent, it's a loss. And depression can come up and down as we do that. Valuing your emotion. You should feel that way when we don't see our children. That's normal. And helping yourself kind of move out of that depressed state, getting support, getting friends, etc., to support you through the process, and even some therapeutic support. The other thing we want people to think of when you're going through this stage of your life, and it is a stage, and this too shall pass, and it'll all work out, provided we get out of the way sometimes. So that next stage would be anger. Anger, as you know, an important component. It's a stage or a component of grieving, but it's also a very real component of the separation and divorce. Little things the other co-parent does can trigger you. You could actually have a new mate now, and you and the new mate are complaining and upset at the other person. Not helpful. Any blame or finger pointing is taking energy away that you and I can use for problem solving. Think of the difference between formulating your opinions, expressing your feelings, bantering about options, and then taking that out for solution focus versus just complaining in the background with really no intention to do much about it. So one wastes a lot of energy. The other one is you processing with your new partner maybe how to improve the relationship with your co-parent and how to best help the children. Of course, the final stage of grieving is acceptance, or the one a lot of people say, I want to get to this place of acceptance. These stages all bounce around. So you might be accepting that you're getting along with your co-parent and that you're separated. You might also be popping back into anger for a couple of minutes here or there, or even a day or two. If a person doesn't give you a phone call, or they don't give you the report card from school, or they don't tell you what the doctor said, these are all common elements of separation and divorce problems that surface. What's the most important part? Staying kind. Modeling for our children that we love one another. You love your children, you love your co-parent. You don't have to love all their behaviors. You can hate some of their behaviors. But finding ways to be lighthearted and loving to the co-parent, the child sees that and doesn't get stuck choosing a parent. Thanks again. Remember, hit subscribe, and you can join us on the journey to self-improvement and better mental fitness in relationships. Thanks, and take care out there.